This is the Mannin line on location.
Faster Mai, good afternoon. Welcome to St Ninian's High School in Upper Douglas. I mentioned St Ninian's was formed in 1985 when the previous upper and lower schools merged. Park Road and Douglas High School in 1985 became St Ninian's. The new location for the lower school in 2012's Bemmerhagen, Oncombe. Now, the upper school campus has had many renovations. It's now a lot larger than the 1920s original. The new sixth form centre was built in the year 2000, the Barbara Cottier Centre. Famous people have come through these doors. Samantha Barks, of course, Christine Collister, the folk blues and jazz singer, and the first president of Tynwald, Charles Carouche. And today we're chatting to Year 12 students about what's important to them at the moment. It's Kasia, first of all. Kasia, you were saying that you had an assembly on vaping recently.
Yeah.
What, a school assembly?
Yeah, it was like trying to like deter everyone from vaping in the bathrooms and like trying to educate us on it, but I didn't think it helped.
Okay, I mean, what sort of people vape, Kasia? I mean, why do people vape? I'm assuming you don't vape.
No, I think it's social culture at the moment, especially in like parties.
Right.
And that's like how people start.
Is it peer pressure or...?
I'm not sure if it's peer pressure. I think it's kind of like a community kind of thing.
Right.
In the bathrooms especially, like.
Okay. Charlie, were you at this vaping thing?
We all were at this vaping
Oh, it was
thing.
a compulsory thing.
Every single person.
So, what? I mean, did it make sense to you?
I mean, yeah, they went over why it was bad and why people shouldn't do it, but...
So the question is, why would people do it then?
Again, just to fit in with people. You know, people want to join in, want to try new things, especially at a young age, and they get influenced by people older than them.
And is it because they smell like sweets? They smell of strawberries.
I mean, they've got the flavours in them. So I'm guessing when you take a vape, I mean, I've never had one before.
Yeah.
You know, you take a vape, and they must have the certain flavours, and they must just be addicted to it. What's the nicotine inside of them?
Freddie, what's your thoughts on vaping?
I think it comes down to peer pressure a lot. Like a lot of people that I've known that have vaped before, it's usually at parties. I mean, I've never done it, but I think it's like Kasia said, more of a social thing.
When you say parties, because obviously you're Year 12, you're between youth clubs and bars and nightclubs and what have you. So is it parties in other people's houses?
Yes. Yeah.
So you go around there and the vapes will come out and that. And
that's it.
Okay. Freddie, you are... no, you're Freddie. That's it. I'm sorry. That's Ethan next to you as well. Ethan, you play football, is that right?
Rugby.
For who?
Colts in Douglas.
Douglas Vikings.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the team like at the moment?
Well, he's just trying to. The guy who owns it, Harry, is come over from England, and he's trying to get a bunch of boys over from all the high schools. He wants to do sort of like a big, proper rugby team. Colts rugby team wants to go over 2 times a month to England to play proper teams in like the south maybe, and at the end of the season he's looking to do some big things with like maybe a tour to Europe. So and
what position do you play?
I play prop or hooker, but more recently hooker.
Okay. And how often per week do you train?
Well, we've had a little bit of a break since Christmas, but he's hoping to do 2 times a week. It was previously once a week, but 2 times a week would be better, really. Are
you a rugby fan? Do you watch rugby on TV?
I watch the odd bit. I wouldn't be able to tell you much about it, but I know
that... You play more than you...
Yeah,
okay.
I could tell you about England's masterclass on the weekend, but apart from that, it's a pretty poor track record for him.
And Conall, a musician, is that right?
You could say, I suppose.
What, you play guitar, is that right?
Mostly, yeah.
Okay. And what was this thing that you were talking about, you don't take Spotify, or you're thinking of getting rid of Spotify?
I'm trying to. I mean, I could go on, and I happily would, but the bottom line is just bad for artists. You get 1/3 of a penny per stream. I believe right now it's something like the top 2% of Spotify artists take 96% of the revenue. So there's other services. The best one I'd say is definitely Tidal, but Isle of Man, it's always weird with these services. You can't really get the proper subscriptions or these discounts or family plans. So it's tricky, but I'm trying to switch.
Okay.
I'm trying to be.
What's your favourite music?
Oh, it's sort of rock and rock adjacent. I mean, really recently it's been a lot more sort of indie or emo rock kind of stuff. I'm partial to a bit of anything, really. Quite like jazz, sort of modern fusion jazz, or occasional pop track.
Okay. Awande, you don't play. Do you play football?
Yes, so I've been playing football for around 8 years for a club called Corinthians.
Yeah.
But recently I've switched from playing under 16s up to men's football. So men's football is a bit different. I've been playing Combi, which is Div 2 football, and then there's the first team, which I've played a little bit in.
You've not been getting bounced around, have you, playing with the men's team?
No, not really. The level is different. It's more aggressive and fast paced, but it's been all right.
Okay. Lois, did you follow the American election?
Yes.
And I mean, now they have the most powerful man in the world is Donald Trump. Is that Have you got any thoughts on Mr. Trump at all?
I have many thoughts on it.
Yeah.
It's very difficult because obviously I'm not very good at politics, but I know from obviously a feminist point of view, I don't think he's right for the job. I think he cheated his way in. He may be good at what he does, but he's not good to run a country, in my opinion.
Okay. Conall, Mr. Trump?
Yeah, I mean, how long do you have? I think really the most obvious thing that's awful about him is the people he surrounds himself with. I mean, what's the American term? His secretaries, or what we would call ministers. He has an anti-vaxxer in charge of health. He has an alcoholic TV personality in charge of the military. I mean, Musk, he's planted his best buddy unelected, giving him access to all parts of the government for his own gain. Just the man himself, even. I mean, it's...
Why do you think so many Americans voted for him?
I only wish I knew, really. I suppose it's a mix of things. It's people who are uninformed and, they'd say they don't follow politics or they don't watch the mainstream news or they don't trust it. Is a lot of them. It's people who don't really realise some of the things he says. But to some extent as well, it's just the problems that a lot of the people are facing, and they see him as some sort of outsider now. I mean, I think that's ridiculous, personally. He is as establishment as it gets. But there's a lot of people who think he's different, and we need something different in order to change things, but it will not help.
Okay, Harry, do you follow politics at all?
Well, I do it for a subject, but not really. No.
Okay, I mean, do you have any opinion on the American election?
It's definitely different, isn't it? Like, I think
when you say you do it at a subject for politics, what happens in politics lessons?
You learn about the history and stuff, and how the UK government, we do the American government and all that next year, but we learn about the UK government. And
do you do any Manx politics in your politics lessons?
No, we don't. No.
So we have the oldest parliament in the world, and it's never mentioned.
I think it's probably been mentioned once or twice, but it's not really a thing that we...
Do you follow Manx politics at all?
No.
Do you know who your MHK is, or your two
idea.
MHKs?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest, no.
Interesting. And Will, do you follow Manx politics at all?
No, not at all.
Will's getting over the fact that Liverpool got beaten by Plymouth Argyle.
Sadly. It wasn't a great one. I was sat on my couch, very tired, and it just wasn't a great one to watch.
Why did he make 10 changes, do you think?
I think he made the same mistake that Klopp made in his first year. It was he took a weak side, thinking, Plymouth, easy game, we got Everton next week, and the fact that, we can go out, hopefully just beat Plymouth and focus more on the game against Everton, but I don't think it went to plan, and he didn't have really any impact subs that could have made the difference there.
So we're now in the middle of February. How likely is the Premier League for Liverpool this year?
Oh, I really don't want to say anything more, but I think we just need to keep going, keep playing. We're playing well at the moment. Salah's on form. I'd say McAllister and Szoboszlai are playing really well at the moment, and that's all I want to see. Just keep going, keep playing.
Carabao Cup?
Yeah, well, actually, I was at the Spurs game when we beat them 4-0.
You were at the Spurs game?
Yeah, the Anfield was absolutely bouncing. The Kop was bouncing. It was brilliant. And hopefully I can be there in Wembley.
Were Spurs really that bad?
Oh, they were terrible. It was abysmal to watch, really. Liverpool dominated them, to be fair, but Spurs are even worse.
Right, okay. Well, we're with the students of St Ninian's on Manx Radio for Mannin Line today. By the way, next week, is it the week after? I think we're at QE2 in Peel. We're talking about, Kasia, that's it, the phone ban. Is there a phone ban for year 12 and 13?
Well, year 12 and 13 are allowed their phone like in study time. You shouldn't really have it out in the corridors, but it's mainly based for like the year 11s to year 7s, because the school think that it's a problem having our phones out and like having them in the school building. But I think it's because during COVID, when we were all like trying to learn digitally and stuff, I think it's created a bit of like a bond between the people's phone.
Right.
And like I don't see the problem in just checking the time when the rooms don't have a clock in, and like the teachers will set lessons and then ask you to go on your phone and do it. But now all of a sudden they don't want phones and they think it's such a bad thing. But I think it's because they don't know how to control them.
Why do they think it's a bad thing?
I think it's because people get distracted. However, even if the phones aren't there, if someone's in the room and they don't want to learn, they're not going to learn anyway. They'll find something. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think they're trying to just put the blame on phones because that's so much easier to just say, right, we're not going to use any phones. But then, like, someone can be in the back of the classroom, like, drawing in a maths lesson because they don't want to do maths. Like, it doesn't solve the problem.
Okay. Lois, did COVID affect you much? What was your academic life like during COVID?
Well, it was like year 7, year 8 that we sort of went into lockdown.
Yeah.
So from my experience, everybody, the school said, like, if you got computers, technology at home, and it's also all of that was available. There was like a massive web that you could just use. And then when the teachers set work, it was like nobody really wanted to do it because everybody was miserable. You couldn't go out, you couldn't see anyone. Like at the start, I guess, like 2 weeks off school, that sounds amazing. You don't have to do any work. Everybody just went out. But then, now I actually realise how bad I was impacted by it because I did do some work. But I mean, it's kind of hard to be doing work at home if you're like used to a classroom environment. Because if you're in your bedroom, you just want to get into bed. Or if you're it's like people say, oh, don't sit in your bedroom, like sit downstairs at the table. As soon as I sat downstairs at the table, I'd just say, oh, I'm going to have a 5-minute break. I'd go upstairs and I'd just do whatever I wanted after.
It seems weird, doesn't it, looking back at COVID? It was like a parallel universe.
People say, like, oh, it's just a bad habit to get out of, but it's not, because that was everybody's lives for like 2 years. And so now when we're in sixth form, it's like it definitely impacted everyone socially and with school life as well. Like I kind of struggle to get like good organisation habits in with schoolwork, but it's like, you can't just stop something for 2 years and then expect to be jumped right back into it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a prolonged thing.
Ethan, do you remember much about COVID?
Yeah, I loved it. It was great. It was a great time, I think, because all the work, we were in year 7, year 8, it wasn't difficult at all. You could sit down in about 2 hours and get it done if you really applied yourself, and then the rest of the time go sit in the garden. It was sunny, it was brilliant, and also gaming was a big part of it, like on your Xbox or something. Like a lot of the boys I knew, we all stayed in touch through that tough period where you're trying to see friends through just playing online with them, games like FIFA and Fortnite and stuff. It was really fun.
GTA?
No, none of that. It was a bit out there for me as a child. So, but no, it was really good. It was nice to stay in touch, and looking back on it, I'd probably not want it to happen again. But as a kid, I mean, you couldn't have wished for anything more, really.
Conall?
Yeah, I think exactly what Ethan said about, especially for me, just the level of work was, you can get it done in a much shorter time. I mean, when you're in school physically, your lessons last as long as they are set to be. You finish the work, then you don't get to go off and do whatever else. You either sit there in silence or you do more work, and you have to wait for the lessons as they come to get it done. But the way our teachers had it, at least most of mine, they'd all just post it in the morning for the day, so I could sit there in my room or downstairs at the computer, finish it all, and then I've got an extra 3 hours every day.
You could discipline yourself to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it was far from perfect, but when I did sit down to get the work done, it's like Ethan said, you just do it and you got loads more free time.
Awande?
But basically, what you were saying, but schoolwork, most of it felt like a choice because we had like Google Classroom, work would get set for you, but you could get it done in about 10 minutes if you applied yourself. But I know with gaming, like to socialise, I know me and my jerk mates, we would just play like 6 hours a day, but things would get like repetitive. So
what did you play?
Same games as him, like Fortnite. We'd play Fortnite, Rocket League, just any like multiplayer games you can play online.
Can you do the floss?
The floss, yes, I could.
Just checking.
But dancing was a part of it because some of our PE lessons was like Zumba, so we'd do that dancing. But we'd also do other stuff, so like go outside 10 minutes a day. But
Ethan was saying he wouldn't want to go through COVID again. I mean, there were lots of bad sides to COVID. But you coped with it okay?
I think it was good. Definitely saying year 7, 8, you were younger. The work wasn't, I wouldn't say like important, but it was quite simple. You'd understand it. Right. But if you were to have it now, because we're doing A-levels, catching up, that would be difficult.
Did anybody have COVID that you knew?
Yeah, I had COVID about 2 times. I had to quarantine for my family, so that would consist of me staying in my room.
How badly did you have it?
Mine wasn't as bad as other people experienced. Mine was just like sick. I couldn't taste. That was very weird. I got vaccinated. That made me feel terrible. But I don't really know how more to explain.
Anybody else have COVID here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that bad for me either. I just kind of got a little bit sick for a week. I didn't lose my taste or anything like that, but it was really, really tough. I didn't feel like eating, but same with me, the vaccines were terrible for me. Like when I got my first vaccine, I was with Charlie, and we were going back to his house afterwards because I was supposed to stay at his, and I threw up everywhere. I don't know why. I think it might have been because we had a Mackey's as well after it. But it was absolutely terrible. I felt so ill. Same with the booster and the second one as well.
Charlie?
Well, when he threw up in my house, it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was.
And did you have COVID?
I did have COVID. I had like the short end of the stick, as they say. All I had is I felt a bit ill, couldn't taste that much, but I was fine. I had it for like only a couple of days, really. But.
Okay, Will?
Yeah, I've had it 3 times. I had it over Christmas period one time, but honestly, all 3 times I've had it, it wasn't really bad. It was just like your average cold, and you barely even know you've got COVID. You just, back then, when you test, you just test to see if you got it, and you have it, and it's like, it's just the same as any other cold.
Looking back at it now, as I say, it seems like a parallel universe, like another world, the fact that we were all locked down and honestly, couldn't see people.
I thought it was really good.
You liked it?
Yeah, I was like Ethan. It was just brilliant. It kind of got me into gaming. In the first lockdown, all my friends bought PCs, so I got a PC, got a really good PC. I remember just playing, like, you do the schoolwork first 2 hours of the day, and then you spend the rest of the day till about 2 a.m. just playing games all night. It was really good.
Well, there we are, another view of COVID. We're at St Ninian's High School. We're going to be back in just a few moments' time.
This winter, don't let your savings hibernate. Watch them thrive at Skipton International Guernsey. Our savings accounts are here to help you reach your goals, no matter what the season. With outstanding customer service and a range of options, whether it's easy access, notice, or fixed-rate bonds, you'll find the perfect fit to make your savings shine. Skipton International, helping your savings grow all year round. For details on all of Skipton's savings Skipton's products, call 01481 730 730 or visit skiptoninternational.com today.
Skipton International is licensed to take deposits by the GFSC and is a participant in the Guernsey Banking Deposit Compensation Scheme. See dcs.gg.
Celebrate the Snug being 15 this year and save hundreds of pounds with 15% off the supply and installation of solid fuel stoves. Sale ends 28th of February. Visit the Snugs Ramsey showroom 6 days a week or call 818187.
Here at Q-Plus, we're not just blue, we're green. From smart boilers to heat pumps, Q-Plus supply products from the leading brands in renewable energy for a cleaner, greener home. So call into Q-Plus on Snugborough Trading Estate, the island's largest independent plumbing and heating merchants for trade and retail. Or call 673 131 to talk to our friendly experts about the latest cost-effective products in home heating and find out what we can do for you at Q-Plus.
Concerned about your hearing? Get the support and help that you need with an expert hearing assessment free of charge at Island Hearing in Port Erin or Ramsey, with microsuction wax removal available in our Port Erin clinic. Island Hearing have been your local hearing care specialists for over 15 years. So for friendly professional help and advice, just call 830 722 or visit Island Hearing at 1 Station Road, Port Erin. Island Hearing, always listening.
February is budget month here on the island, and at Manx Radio there'll be comprehensive coverage on air and online brought to you by Crow Isle of Man. And on the evening of the 21st of February, we're inviting you to join us for Manx Radio's live budget discussion programme. Be part of our live audience and have your say. Seats are limited, so register now for your free ticket at manxradio.com. Just click the link on our homepage. If selected, you'll get the chance to ask your questions directly to the Treasury Minister. Don't miss out. Sign up today at manxradio.com.
Manx Radio's budget coverage, brought to you by Crow Isle of Man. This is the Mannin line on location
at St Ninian's High School, and one of the famous ex-pupils is Peter Kenyuk, a cyclist, Olympic gold medalist. And Freddie, you were a cyclist for quite a while, weren't you?
Yeah, I used to cycle when I was like really young, up until maybe the start of year 10, and then I had to stop it because it was, I mean, cycling is like a really competitive sport, and the Isle of Man produces a lot of good cyclists. Like the head of it all, Dot Tilbury, she's like the head of it all. She kind of takes all the young people out on trips, and like she's brought up a lot of good cyclists. Like my cousin, Elizabeth Holden, she's a really good cyclist. She's professional actually, and she lives in Girona. So yeah. So
you were good. And a decision was made that you didn't want to go on. Was there a specific reason for not going on?
I just all got really competitive, and it just kind of got to that stage. I feel like there's a stage with every sport where it gets to the point where you're going to have to like dedicate all your time to it, or you can share it out over specific things. Okay. And cycling's definitely one of those sports.
And do you think? I mean, much has been made about Dot Tilbury. I mean, she's a pocket rocket, isn't she? I mean, she's very, very enthusiastic about it. Do you think a lot of it is down to Dot?
Yeah, I'd say Dot on like all the people she surrounds herself with, but yeah, she's definitely one of the main people behind it all. Okay, and what's Lizzie doing these days? Is she competing? Yes, she's competing. It's a shame I don't really know about all the races, but I know she's done a lot of big races and she does very well in them, actually. Do you still cycle? I do like a slight bit. I mean, just for leisure, not competitively. Yeah, I'd say so. I kind of moved over to like mountain biking more with my dad, and that was more of a thing we do. Do you cycle to school? No, I live quite far away. Does anybody cycle to school here? Maybe not in sixth. Charlie, do you cycle to school?
Oh, I do not cycle to school, no.
No? Have you got a bike?
Nope. Nope, nope.
Anybody cycle to school here? No. Nobody cycles to school. But Kasia, you're a dancer, is that right?
Yeah, I dance.
You do dance.
Yeah, I do private ballet. I do it in the same place you do.
You didn't know, Lois?
But yeah, I started dancing because I want to go away to musical theatre college, and I've got like my singing and acting down, but I need to get better at dancing. Right. So I've started doing private ballet. What's a musical theatre college? Like Arts Ed and Mount View. They like they teach you all the 3 disciplines, and like you're meant to be able to spend 3 years, get a BA honours degree, and then go out working. Like,
what do you want to do?
Hopefully, like cruise ships, like singing on cruise ships, and then eventually I'd like to start my own company so I could like teach little kids musical theatre.
Do you sing at the moment?
Yes.
Okay, what's your signature song that you do?
Oh, my signature song?
Yeah. What's your favourite one?
What a Bacon Can Do from Waitress.
Okay.
That's my favourite.
Okay. We'll finish the show off with that. If you
Very funny.
If you could do a couple of verses, that'd be great. So, Lois, you do ballet, is that right?
Yes, I do ballet.
Okay, and is that once a week, or do you have to practice more?
I do it twice a week. I do Thursday after school, and then I do Saturday as well.
Okay, is this going to lead to anything, or is it just for fun?
Well, I started off when I was like 5, and I've always just done it for like kind of like a hobby, and it's good skills, keeps you, fit for exercise.
Hard work.
Yeah, it's very, very hard work, especially when you go on to point. That's when it gets tough.
Point is
point shoes. So like
when you stand on your
you're
tiptoes.
right on your toes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of when most people drop out, kind of. But yeah,
have you got a job? Do you do a job at weekends?
I've been talking about getting a job. I can't really find anywhere, and plus I haven't really got the time right now.
Okay. Awande, do you work at weekends? Have you got a job at all?
Not currently, but I know in TT I have a couple of things lined up, so I'll be working bushies over a couple of while.
Is that collecting or serving?
So there's different roles. So last year I did a little bit of pouring, but I'm not supposed to be doing. I went around collecting like rubbish, cleaning the area. I did some sub shifts and taking down, and then at Vagabonds Rugby Club I was doing some catering as well.
Okay. Anybody who's got a Saturday job here? Conall? Anybody?
Well, my friends and my parents will love to laugh at me for it. I work at the Gaiety Theatre and the Villa Marina, but you'd hardly call it a Saturday job. You don't get many shifts. So I'm what they call a casual. It's just part-time.
Doing what?
I think my title is Technical Theatre Assistant. And ideally that means, you're helping sound engineers, lighting techs, you're doing cables and running desks. Really, for the moment, what it is lugging around speakers and taking down scaffolding and the like. But you don't get in very often. There's so many of us. I will say I should be getting in when Gary Barlow, he's doing his tour. It starts off in the Villa, and so there's work going for that, running some of the follow spots, which are the lights that, you manage them by hand, they follow people around.
What do you want to do for a career?
That is a very good question. For the longest time I was quite set on I want to make games, I want to do something with computers. When I was much younger, I was really set on I want to work for Nintendo, I want to make Mario games. But nowadays I'm always less sure. I mean, AI now much more prevalent. It's sort of shaken up the computer science industry a bit. I've been getting quite into engineering as a possibility, especially electrical engineering, since that kind of ties in with the whole sound tech and lighting things.
And how would you do that? Would you consider an apprenticeship or something like that, or what would you do?
No, I'm probably heading to uni, so something like an electrical engineering degree. I'm not sure what the level would be, but then I'd probably end up having to go across for something like that.
Okay.
I mean,
who's got
there's
a
not
job
much
here?
going here?
Who does a weekend? Oh, Ethan. Yes. What do you do?
Yeah, I work for my parents at their restaurant, Nobles Park, talk of the town. Mainly just doing bar and grill shifts, but occasionally if they need me for like a wedding or a birthday or something, I'll show up and lend a helping hand.
So how are you dealing with the public then, Ethan?
Well, fairly well. You get some people are better than others, but that's part of the job. It's all about shaping you as a person, trying to that's one of the benefits of it.
So you're working for the family firm. I take it you get paid.
Well, yeah, pretty well. It just depends, because I'm trying to pay off my car and everything as well at the minute, because my parents went halves with me on that, so got a lot of things that...
Have you passed your test?
It's a touchy subject.
How many times have you failed?
Once so far, but the second one's booked in, so all full steam ahead, as they say.
I mean, we're all friends here. What went wrong?
couple things, but it was mainly on Quarterbridge. He was because in the test they'll say to you, they'll go, okay, just follow the signs to Peel, because to take you back to the test centre, and I apparently don't know my way around Quarterbridge as well as I did, so I went to Castletown. I didn't go, I was taking the lane to Castletown, and I realised last minute, oh, I'm in the wrong lane. So I had to switch over last minute, and I didn't do it very seamlessly. So that was definitely a contributing factor.
So when's your next test?
I can't say that. That's unlucky.
Oh, right. Okay.
I might fail.
Anybody? Who else has passed the test here? Anybody?
Yeah.
Conall?
I mean, I passed.
First time?
Yeah. And listen, these are the words of my instructor, not me. I believe what he says was, quote, best test he'd ever had. Not my words, obviously. So I've been told.
Yeah.
I had.
If this were TV, everybody would see eyes rolling around here.
Oh, I can see them around me.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't. They've all got sunglasses on because you handed them out to them.
Yeah.
But no. I had a lot of lessons. So my parents both drive automatics, and since God knows they were not going to pay for me to get an automatic license, I just had to have a lot of lessons to practice in the manual because I couldn't practice outside of it. So it was probably 11 months for me to pass.
How long have you been driving now?
Since December, really. I mean, I drive to school most days. They've started letting me take the car out to, take my friends around or go all over, really. So it's quite nice.
Harry, you passed your test, did you say?
I did, yeah.
You did? First time, was it?
No.
No? Second time?
No.
Third time?
Yeah.
Third time?
Yeah. It was ropey. I think that's the best way to put it. Yeah.
Okay. Have you got your own vehicle?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who bought that?
My parents.
Okay. Yeah. Just tell me, young drivers, R-plate drivers,
yes,
often get a bad rap, don't they? They get a bad reputation.
Yeah, I'd say they do, yeah.
I'm asking you to stand up for R-plate drivers.
I'm all for it. I guess I'm not a capable driver like a lot of people are. I've been driving for a long time, but I feel I have a driving licence, so I've clearly done something right, and I've passed my test despite, the 2 times that I failed, but it's not the point. So I feel like I'm capable enough. I think all R-plate drivers are somewhat capable. If you can pass your test, then I feel like, why can't you drive? You know what I mean?
I'll speak for the other side then. Some people say that R-plate drivers drive hot hatchers with big exhausts and make a big noise.
I wouldn't deny it. There's definitely some people out there who do, but I drive my little 1 litre Volkswagen Polo. It barely gets up 50 miles per hour. It can't even get up Blackberry Lane without it chugging along. So I think that says all you need to know. But I think some people do drive around like absolute nut jobs. There's no denying that. But I feel that it's only a minority.
Okay. Do you drive well?
Yeah, I have also passed my test.
Yeah.
But as Harry says, I think you say people drive around like nut jobs, but that's not just R-platers. You see people driving around like that all the time. I think people on R-plates just get a bad rep because it's like...
Because there's an R-plate on it.
Yeah, exactly. You see the R-plate and you see the boy racer, as they say, just revving around the streets of Douglas, and yeah, I think... Yeah, some people are definitely like that, but not all. I
mean, there is a really serious side to this, in that some young people lose their lives in crashes.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, are you aware of that when you get into the vehicle?
Yeah, we had an assembly in about year 10 about it, and it definitely shook me anyway, seeing like people going on back roads and they're getting full cars, like putting like 6 people in the car, no seat belts, and it's just, I would never have that in my car. People definitely have to wear seatbelts if they're getting in mine. That's one thing. That is a rule I have when I'm driving. Make sure safety is first.
Have you got your eyes on university, Will?
Yes, definitely.
What do you want to do?
So I'd like to do something to do with sports science in uni, and then I'm not sure after that. I would like to do a master's as well, but like do that on more like a specific. So do sports science and then do like sports technology or sports analysis.
All right. For the uninitiated, what's sports science?
So it's like if you do like PE at GCSE or A level, it's like that, but more in detail, the sciencey side, like biology, you have all like the biology side to it as well. But then there's like the sports psychology and everything like that. It's because I just really want to work with someone to do with sports.
Any ideas? Well, I mean, do you see any role that you'd like to be in? Is any particular sport? Is it football, rugby?
Yeah, football or cricket. I'd love to do hockey, but there's just not enough funding in that at the moment.
You play, don't you? Play hockey?
I do play hockey.
Who for?
I play for Backers.
Okay.
Yeah.
What position?
I'm kind of all over the place, but I claim to be a centre mid or attacking mid.
And I mean, hockey's big on the island, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a lot bigger than people actually think. Everyone thinks football's pretty big on the island, which it is, but I think hockey's definitely up there. Gives it a good run for its money.
Okay. Right, as I mentioned, we're live at St Ninian's High School, and who wanted to talk about the Super Bowl? Who'd watched the Super Bowl? It was, Charlie.
Yeah, I watched the Super Bowl.
Was that to watch Taylor Swift, or?
No, so Kendrick Lamar actually did the halftime show this time.
And he cleaned up his lyrics, didn't he?
He did. I mean, it didn't sound as good, but, he had to not swear for the audience, so, I mean, that's understandable.
Okay, was it just a spectacle, or did you follow Philadelphia or Kansas?
I didn't really follow any team. I was just interested because it's fun to follow.
Was it the first one you'd watched?
It's the first one I've properly watched, yeah. Didn't want Patrick Mahomes to get another Super Bowl win, so...
Okay. And at the end of it... Were you happy with the spectacle? Happy with the result?
Oh yeah, I was very happy. My dad, on the other hand, wasn't. So I was just laughing.
He's an Eagles fan, though. He's a Chiefs fan.
He is, and I was preying on their downfall, is what I was doing, because I didn't want Patrick Mahomes to win another Super Bowl. I want to keep Tom Brady up there, so I was for the Eagles.
Conall, did you watch it?
I didn't watch it live. I knew it was happening coming up to it, and I watched all sorts of clips afterwards. Really, it's what Charlie says. For me, it's a bit like when I watch England play rugby. I don't really care who wins. I just need England to lose. I didn't really care about the Eagles. I just wanted the Chiefs to lose because I'm just tired of hearing about them and their players and the things they say.
So, just explain the bit about England losing.
I mean, if you can believe it from how I talk, I'm Irish, and my parents have it worse, especially my dad in work. Whenever they win anything big, especially for something like the Euros or the Six Nations, you do not stop hearing about it. And there's nowhere to go. The rest of all my family, they do live in Ireland, so we're kind of just a bit alone here.
Yeah.
So you get kind of surrounded by noise for the next month whenever they win.
So you support two teams, Ireland and anybody who plays England?
I believe that's the one.
Yeah.
Been a lifelong supporter.
Okay. Whereabouts in Ireland your family from?
From around the east, sort of. My mum's from Kildare, my dad's from Wicklow. They're both sort of south of Dublin a bit.
And what brought them to the Isle of Man?
Well, they met in Dubai, actually. So my mum's a teacher. My dad's sort of which one will he like the sound of? A financier.
Oh, right.
He works for Canaccord at the moment. So my dad was there. It's Dubai. There's money. And my mum was teaching in an English-speaking school, and they met there. My dad ended up coming over to the Isle of Man for some sort of training thing as an accountant, because there's all sorts of that over here. And as for my mum, I'm not quite sure. But clearly they liked the idea of raising a family here.
Do you feel drawn to Ireland? I mean, would you go and live in Ireland?
I'd like to. I mean, anyone who lives here will tell you okay, maybe I can't speak for everyone, but the young dream here is to leave.
Ireland's no threat.
Hey. But it would be nice. I mean, every now and then I sort of think I should go over more, try and keep that side of it.
Yeah.
Because you lose it not living there, not growing up there. But I would like to live there. Just like to live somewhere bigger, a proper city even.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people. So you're looking towards university, presumably?
Definitely, yeah.
Where would you go?
I'll probably be in England, actually. Yeah.
Well, I mean, lots of people students go to England and never come back because they like the big cities.
Yeah.
And there are other people who go and can't take the big cities and have to come back.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole conversation about life for young people here. But I suppose it really comes down to not just loving the big city and not wanting to leave, or not being able to handle the big city and needing the peace. It's also a question of, once you get to that age, how sustainable is it even to live here? In terms of housing and social life and jobs, it's a lot.
Awande, are you looking for university?
To be honest, I'm not too sure what I want to do after sixth form, but I have been researching a little bit about uni. So I've been looking at different courses, but I've also been looking at work and what apprenticeships I could go into. But
on the Isle of Man?
On the Isle of Man and away. So if I was going to uni, I would look at something away. If I was doing a job, I would probably stay here with my family. But we are set to not leaving, but moving somewhere abroad, back to South Africa or maybe even to England.
Well, interestingly enough, it's National Apprenticeship Week this week, all over the British Isles. So the thought of... put it this way, we've been talking about university, but tradespeople, artisans are always needed. People who can work with their hands are always needed. People who can build things, make things, and do things, physical things. So, would you look at any of that?
So I have looked at a couple of trades, but I feel like that's not something I'd want to do. But in terms of something practical, I've been looking at like engineering a little bit. I've researched, but I'm not sure that's a field I want to go into. I've been looking at something mechanical, so like working on different buildings, cars, just vehicle transport. But
okay, all right. We're back with St Ninians and the students of Year 12 in just a few moments.
EPS just finished painting our house and we're delighted with the result.
Very impressed with the speed, quality and standard of work.
We would recommend EPS highly.
House looks like new.
Brilliant job from start to finish.
EPS, transforming properties island-wide with a revolutionary Protex wall covering system, guaranteed for 10 years. Visit eps.company for details. There's a waiting list, but it'll be worth it.
A good job well done.
Thank you, EPS.
For all things motorbikes, look no further than HNHmotorcycles.im, where you'll find everything you need on the H&H Motorcycles website and e-store. From a fantastic range of new and used bikes to helmets, clothing and accessories from bikers' top brands, including Yamaha, Alpine Stars, Arai, Bell, Oakley, Motul and more. Shop online 24/7 at HNHmotorcycles.im, or for excellent choice and expert knowledge, call into H&H Motorcycles, South Key Industrial Estate, Douglas.
We're cooking with sunshine, cholera. We're washing with sunshine, cholera. We're heating with sunshine, cholera. The future looks good. Call 676-544. Call 676-544. Call 676-544. Future looks good. 676-544.
When you need a fitting memorial or headstone for a loved one, contact Manx Memorials in Peel. This long-standing family-run Manx company offer a wide range of granite and marble headstones and memorials, along with an island-wide inscription and renovation service. Manx Memorials skilled professionals will take the time to help you choose a suitable memorial, and we're proud to say we'll beat other local quotes. Call 843-861 or email matthew@manxmemorials.co.uk.
Valentine's Day is almost upon us, and here on Manx Radio, we're giving you the chance to be a big romantic winner. We've teamed up with Hotel Halvard in Douglas to give one lucky listener the chance to win a luxury overnight stay for two with dinner and breakfast included. All you have to do is listen out on Valentine's Day, which is this coming Friday, for Cupid's quiz question. As soon as you hear it, head to manxradio.com and submit your answer. Don't miss your chance to win this Valentine's Day with Hotel Halvard and your nation station, Manx Radio.
This is the Mannin line on location.
Well, Faster Mai, good afternoon. We're at St Ninian's High School. In a couple of weeks' time, Treasury Minister Alex Allinson will be on talking about the budget, and early March we'll be at QE2 High School in Peel to chat to. So, Kasia, what would you like there to be for young people on the Isle of Man? Is there much for young people to do?
I mean, for me personally, I think there's quite enough for me in my age, like, because I do lots of musical theatre, I have lots of opportunities over here, not to be successful but definitely to train. So I think I've got quite a good grounding, and like, because I got a hobby quite young, then I had loads of stuff to do. But I think, if anything, if there's need, it's just lots of support about going to uni, taking a gap year, a lot more support of money and like how to find it, and like people talking about uni, like the difficult things. Like, I don't know how it's going to work with accommodation, what I should expect, what's too much to be paying to go to uni, what are essentials. I feel like the Manx youth need to be like educated on how life works outside of the Isle of Man.
Okay, what do you know about Manx politics?
Absolutely nothing.
Who's the Chief Minister?
Great question.
Yeah. Anybody know who the Chief Minister is? Conall.
Yeah, Alfred Cannon.
Alfred
You mentioned Alex Allison, Treasury Minister. He was actually my doctor when I was born, or my mum's doctor, I should say, before he was more into the politics.
Right.
So I always find that quite interesting.
So he's responsible for you?
He's what made me the interesting person I am, I suppose.
Okay. I want to go to Charlie.
Neutral.
Charlie, tell me, what do older people not understand about younger people on the Isle of Man? What don't they get?
Maybe that we're all not rebellious. You know, we don't cause a massive amount of trouble all the time. Well, some of us, anyways.
Harry, what do older people not understand about younger people?
I think what Charlie said. I feel older people might feel that you might see a few of us on the street and think God knows what they're doing and smashing up the place or drinking and all that rubbish. But I feel we're not bad at all. I may be not speaking for all of us, obviously, but I feel there's a lot of people who might look at a group of younger people just as a stereotype as a whole and just feel like we're all, the same, and we're all rebellious and we're all doing stuff that...
Well, apart from the kind of about the R-plate thing, what do older people not understand about younger people?
Yeah, I think as Harry said, they think we're all rebellious, that stereotype around it, but I think there's definitely a lot of us that are still respectful to old people. Like, we always see them out in the street. We'll always, offer a hand or help them cross the road or anything. I'm sure a lot of people are still willing to do that. I mean, I know I am, and I'm sure these guys here are as well. And if there's not, we're not all bad.
Okay. Awande?
I feel like with young people, they get like a bad reputation, but I also feel like that's due to lack of entertainment on the island. So like young people would go out and then an older person will see them, they're just trying to enjoy themselves. They'll go around and play like Manhunt or something. They may be like loud, cause a disturbance, but with older people, they'll view that. They'll think, oh, this kid's silly, like he's a goon max, so like all these like weird things. But I feel like they don't really understand, like, they're not like bad people. They're just trying to find some entertainment, something to do.
Okay, Lois?
I was going to follow on from that. I think they forget that we're kind of just like they were younger and we're younger, but we're just in a different generation of time. So it's like when they were younger, they maybe went out with their friends, they did social things. But for us, obviously, time goes on, things are invented, there's technology, people change, society changes. So obviously it's just a bit upsetting, when we're going out to a youth club but we're getting older, so we can't go, so we go play Manhunt in the park, and the next thing you know, you're on like Facebook from Onken residents saying they were making a massive row in the park, and it's just like, we were just playing Manhunt, to be honest. That's happened quite a few times, and it's like sometimes when you're out late, it's like you're not really out late to cause havoc, you're just out there because everybody can be all together. And it's like when you go to the park, it's like you see these signs up there, it's like no one over the age of 14, it's like, well, where are we meant to go?
Ethan?
Yeah, I know this. Yeah, I know this is happening, but it's just a strange situation. Like, there's not enough stuff to do on the island for younger people, but there's not enough of a market as well. Like, younger people, if there's anything new that comes to them, there's not the market for a place where young people can have fun, because a lot of people wouldn't pay for it. So then you have the problem with people going out on the streets, and it's a complicated one, because it does look bad on paper, a bunch of big groups of kids walking around the streets, but at the end of the day, there is nothing else there for them, unless one of the unlucky parents decides to let them in the house for a couple of hours. Most kids have nowhere to go, so I feel like while it does look bad, there should be something put in place, really, some sort of solution, but at the same time, there's not really a market for it, so it's a tough one.
Okay, back to Lois quickly, then Conall.
Yeah, it's like my parents tell me all about what Summerland and how great it was and everything, and how there was so much to do, and it's like, yeah, they built the NSE, but it costs about £3, £4, £5 for just 1 hour in a swimming pool, and then you have to get a bus back to Douglas, or you have to get a lift. So, like, there's not enough things to do, and it's very limited. And it's like, it's like there's just nowhere in like walk's reach where you can't just meet up quickly. It's the only thing we kind of have is the fun barn, but we either have to pay for a bus or try and get cars, and that's like petrol, lifts, and there's just not really much availability.
Okay, Conall?
Yeah, I think it's exactly what Lois said first. There's just not enough places for us to simply be. Places for young people to just kind of exist or be outside or be somewhere. I'm reminded of what you said at the very start. We're sort of in between youth clubs and pubs and bars at our age. So it's just an uncomfortable middle ground, since if we want to be outside, and we do, or you want to be out somewhere, all that's really left is just, the public out on streets. And it would be one thing if everyone was, respectful of that fact. But it's the same as in any generation. There are the bad apples, and you only see those ones because if there's young people out and they're not causing a problem, you don't notice them, you don't think of them, or especially the ones who are just inside. There's people who stay in, who don't go out all the time. You don't think of them because to you they don't exist almost.
Charlie?
I mean, also what Lois said about activities, a while ago there was what's it called, an arcade that was in town somewhere, but they haven't remade one, they haven't really built a new one. They're trying to right now, like up near Sports Direct, but they need to make a bigger arcade for people.
An arcade for what? Playing?
Just for like playing games, like you see in England or like the Trafford Centre. You see the arcade. They've got like a whole like go-karting course. They've got everything. They've got the arcade games that you could play. So
okay.
More of them.
Are you looking to university?
I am
Charlie?
looking to university.
Okay. Any particular one? Have you looked?
I haven't looked at any, but I know I'd like to go into like the filming industry at least, or something along the lines of that.
Intermedia?
Intermedia.
Right, okay. To do particularly what?
I don't know. I just want to be like a part, like, I don't want to say a part of a movie, but I want to help out with the movie, you get to meet famous people and then just be involved with that sort of stuff.
Well, we used to have that years ago. There was a thing in Peel called the Media Centre, when there was a bit of a film industry on the Isle of Man. The bad news is it went years and years ago. It was the first place on the Isle of Man I ever saw IMAX, and they were encouraging people to go into media.
Oh, yeah.
So we wish you well. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Right, today we've been at St Ninian's High School with Will and Harry and Charlie and Freddie and Ethan and Conall, Awande and Lois and Kasia as well. Let's say thanks to Lauren, also to Matty Cunningham and Chris Quirk. I'm Andy Wint, and today we've been live at St Ninian's High School.
WINT